and loving the love train here on the Chuck in the Afternoon Show, feeling the love. That's right. Dean Hensley from the Times News in there with his recorder. Hey, Dean, how you doing, man? I'm going to be so famous someday. Someday. It may be a while. All right, we're less than a minute away from that 5 o'clock hour. All you 5 o'clock people, I know you're happy now, aren't you? Yes, you are.
You're listening to AM 1450.
September will make 13 years I've been here doing the Chuck in the Afternoon Show, which I will proudly say is the #1 afternoon show that's generated out of Hendersonville. Don't let anyone else fool you. I'm #1. I grew up here. I went to Balfour, and then in the 8th grade we moved over to the Fruitland area, and I went to Edneyville from the middle of the 8th grade, where I graduated from in 1974. Yeah, I played football in Edneyville, and run track. No, I threw the disc at the shot. I did run the mile one time, but that was a mistake. So we won't go into that. It's just a little embarrassing. Well, back then it was Coach Bill Whitmire and Tom Pryor were co-head coaches at Edneyville back in the day. I was the line.
Oh, okay.
Look at me, Dean. I was the line. No, I played nose guard on defense, and then one year I played tackle, one year I played guard, and one year I played tight end. So I played 3 different positions. I was multi-talented. You good athletes can do that.
Okay. Did you score any touchdowns as a tight end?
No, but I did intercept a pass one time as a nose guard, so that was the highlight of my nose guard career right there. I went to Mars Hill College and came out and went back to Edneyville, and I was a substitute teacher here in the county for many years and worked every day, and then I was the head trainer at Edneyville High School for 8 years.
Oh, really?
The sports medicine, I was a sports medicine man.
Oh, good. At all,
well, I was in the radio business when I first got out of the 82nd Airborne Division. As a matter of fact, Chuck Finley, who is the morning man here now, was working at what was then WHVL. And I did a little program called Thorg Morton, doing local football predictions, and I took it into him, and I say, hey, I got this little thing. You might remember Leonard Post Toasties, Leonard's Losers.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I did Thorg's Favorites, which we still air on WHKP now during football season. That's how I first got into the radio business, and then Dave Lyons, who's the engineer now, hired me on at WHVL. And then I did a little work. That was in '78, and then I went on to college right after that, and then went on and did all the stuff I do. I've led the varied life. I was in the Airborne. I was a paratrooper with the 82nd Airborne Division.
Oh, good.
So I'd never even been in an airplane until I jumped out of one.
Oh,
so,
gosh.
Jumped out of the first 9 airplanes I was ever in. So first time I landed in one scared me to death. Huh? 4 years ago, we started. This will be our 4th year. So 4 years ago now, for several years, I did me and my wife Wendy did Friday Night Football Finals with Chuck and Wendy. And that was a popular show. I mean, that was more than just scores. That show was really a happening. We'd have guests, and people were constantly calling in and stuff like that. Wendy had a whole network of people she called. This was back before you could get scores off the computer so easy. I guess the most memorable moment was when Cedric scored the touchdown against West with no time left on the clock, a 96-yard touchdown run, and Coach B.J. Lauder was just going for overtime, and he went off right tackle, I think it was, if my poor old mind remembers correctly, and he went 96 yards for a touchdown to win that ball game with no time left on the clock. You probably remember that.
Oh, yeah.
And that was just, and I was just, unbelievable, unbelievable, unbelievable. And it was. I've taken a picture or two over the years. Yeah. My photography started, I bought a camera at a pawn shop at Fort Bragg when I was there. and I just love taking pictures, and and through the years I've developed it. Certain things that happened in my life. My first wife broke up, and I decided to make just a change in my life, and that's when I got out of teaching completely, left Edneyville. Decided, I did 2 or 3 different things around the country. I worked for a certain company close to Washington, D.C. that shall remain nameless, but I was taking pictures. I was doing surveillance for them, and they needed. So I saw an ad in the newspaper that said, person with military background wanted with camera. Hey, that's me. So I went and applied, and I got the job. And so for a few years, I worked for them, and then I was encouraged by other people to try to make it a profession, and I did that and turned pro in '87. Joined the Professional Photographers of North Carolina in 1992, the Professional Photographers of America in 1993, and since then I've just developed it and made a business out of it. I love photography more than I love the business of photography. Everybody with a camera is a photographer. It's just depending on what level of photography you're in. But I got my master's from PPA in 2008, so I'm actually certified master photographer. I don't just go around. Anybody can say they're a master photographer, but I am, through PPA, a master, and through PPNC, several awards to them. Some of my images have made the PPA loan book, which means nothing to anybody looking at this unless you know about the PPA loan book. But they select certain pictures every year to go in this book that they call the loan book, and it's a great honor. 4 of my images ended up in South Korea at Imaging Asia. It's hard for me to say. It's not like I talk for a living. At Imaging Asia. So I've done well. I've got a book published called North Carolina in My Heart, A Photographer's View of the State He Loves, and it's got a lot of my scenic pictures in it. I'm on Facebook. Anybody out there that wants to friend me, I'm on Facebook, and you can see a lot of my photography on Facebook. So, it's just been, photography's just been something I've really loved. Right now with the economy, things are down. I got this job as a part-time job. This job was only supposed to last like 2 months at the most. So now I've been here almost 13 years. Right now, I'm kind of glad because the economy's not, and it's good to have a part-time job. But this is my part-time job. I make my living in photography.